righty. Adopt the agenda.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Secretary's report is accurate from last month. Motion to adopt the secretary's report.
Motion to adopt secretary's report.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye. 2 seconds need the approval, I'm sorry.
Me. On the agenda.
Very good, thank you.
And the treasurer's report.
Treasury report for last month started with a beginning balance of $1,090,976.59. 15 credits to the account and totaling amount of $3,527.40. 55 debits to the account totaling $397,888, leaving an ending balance of $696,615.99.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report subject to audit.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
I'd ask for approval to pay the bills in the amount of $114,959.70.
Motion for approval of the payment of the bills.
Bills.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Chief Fire Marshal's report.
Okay. Let me call John real quick because apparently this isn't. I don't know what's good, like audio or video or nothing. Hey, we're having technical difficulties, so I'm just gonna keep you on speakerphone if that works.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah, I don't fully understand what's going on here, so, it's recording, that's the good thing, so,
Okay.
we'll just go from there. I'm going to, I'm pulling up the chief's report now. They already breezed through everything else. Okay, chief's report, 25 February. Fleet status, PMs, preventive maintenance and DOT inspections have been completed on the remaining apparatus. We also completed the PMs on Brush 46's pump. Captain Moreland has ordered light covers and lenses for, we have several on the older trucks, broke lenses, so we're getting those fixed. $12.99, the new monitor's been installed, an Apple device for casting. I also installed a weather station on it this week. Truck 12, we had a recurring steering issue with truck 12. McQueen came out, placed the steering box, and has finally fixed the problem, which took forever and a day. Fleet status 1244. Station 4's tanker was leaking more than usual. Upon inspection, Captain Moreland found the seal for the rear dump chute was compromised. We attempted to reseal it, which helped, but not entirely fix the problem. The tanker's in service, but we're going to have to send it to John's to have it fixed. Captain Moreland's also ordered rebuild kits for the valves and the tankers and the older engines to minimize some of their leaks. For the longest time, we've been draining pumps and stuff like that when it gets too cold. So when we're out driving, we don't crack the pump when they freeze. But the problem is the older trucks are leaking horribly past their valves. So we're going to rebuild some of those valves. All of our tankers are 1997, and our engines are 99 for old ones, so they're just old. Station 1, we have installed a new radio alerter at Station 1. This unit is way smaller than our current alerters, doesn't do everything the current alerters do, but it'll be fine for Station 1. And the nice thing about it is it's portable enough, I can move it to other stations. So when our alerters for our amplifier goes down at another station, we just grab it from one house and go plug it in. So also not wanting to be left out, Station 1 air compressor died, just like the other 3 we bought. So I had to replace that one as well. And that's the compressor that keeps the brakes full on the truck. Now that it's warming up again, Captain Haggard has resumed the exterior lighting project. The front lights have been completed on the original bays of one house, and we just have the rest of the station to do as it gets warmer. Station 3, the bathroom sink has been replaced after it was damaged, as reported last month. Eagle Security installed the hardware for HQ's rear door today, but the guy that came out could not program it. So the programming tech will be here tomorrow, and then they will start on Station 1. Headquarters, the urinal flusher was malfunctioning. It was automatic, but they used to all be automatic. And one of the toilets in the men's bathroom started leaking, so I had a plumber come out and make repairs. And every time an auto flush goes out, I just haven't put a manual on it. So we'll continue to replace the auto flushers with manuals as they die out. The Station 1 LED sign. I had not received any word from Lake West as to the status of the sign. I reached out several times through phone calls and emails and never got anything back. So I drove up to their office and found out the guy that was in charge of doing this was no longer with them. Apparently it was not a good parting, but I met with the owner. He had no clue this was even happening. So we're back on track. We got the signs ordered. I made the initial payment because it was half on completion, and they're on their way. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we will finally have the LED sign on. Staffing, our new hire started last Monday and has completed his orientation. He began working on C shift last Wednesday. Lieutenant Harper's been on light duty for the last couple of weeks after his knee surgery, and he will be back to full duty on Monday. Part-time positions are getting posted this month, as well as promotional process for acting company officer for the open acting company officer's position. Under collective bargaining agreement, Chief Odenwald and I have a meeting with the Missouri Cancer Pool rep on March 3rd, and once we get that, I will provide details that are available. But she's coming here, which is pretty nice. Collective bargaining agreement, medical insurance. McGrath is here tonight to discuss the renewal. After going over everything with him, I'll just make it shorter because I know he's going to talk really long. I'm going to recommend we just renew our current policy, and me, the shop, and David are going to sit down and find something better, or at least cheaper. Dispatch and communications, we've experienced some issues with reception. This has always been a problem, but as the population increases, it becomes more and more of a prevalent. I have begun testing most wind reception throughout the district. Mid-County and Gravois are finally looking to migrate, so we will need to move that way too. I have looked at various options that will cost quite a bit of money. Moving to Moswin can be done cheaply, and we'll be able to patch the new Moswin system into our existing VHF system, so that we do not lose anything and we gain additional function. To the whiteboard. I realize we talk about all this stuff quite a bit, and I'm probably speaking Swahili, so I'm going to give you a crash course on what I've been talking. Okay. Currently, we have a VHF repeater that's on a tower at 2 House. Let me find one that works. It's on the tower at 2 House. When you're on a walkie or a mobile radio, and you're talking walkie to walkie, that's called simplex. You're on one frequency. So just as an example, 154.00 megahertz. It's one frequency these two radios are talking about. When you talk to the repeater, you're going up, and it's boosting the signal and sending it out at a much higher wattage. This is called a parent. So you have 154.00, let's just say 153.25. The guys don't see these two frequencies on their walkie. They just see they're on channel 2. These programmed into the radio. So you're transmitting on this frequency and you're receiving on that frequency. Does that make sense? Okay. So one of the things when we got the grant was we had to buy an in-vehicle repeater as part of the grant requirement. I'm no Picasso, so forgive me. So we installed it on my truck. And what that allowed you to do was in areas that we couldn't get out on the walkie, turn the vehicle repeater on, and whatever radio channel my truck is on, the walkies go to the truck, and then out to the big repeater, and then you've got much better coverage. Okay?
How many vehicle repeaters do we have?
Right now, we only have one. And that vehicle,
I'm sorry, on vacation.
It sits in my truck. I mean, we can't move it, it's mounted. The chief that responds the most and the call numbers, so we put it in my truck. And we didn't know how well this was gonna work. So I looked into buying more repeaters, was gonna put one in each of the brush trucks and all three of the first steps. The problem with that is it's quite a bit of money. And we would really like to get walkies assigned to every commander, because right now, when they have come in for shift, they're handing walkies. I'd really like have one assigned to them. One, they'll take care of them better, and two, then I can see if a man goes down exactly who that is, because their name will be on it, not just the seat number. But with that being said, Moswin, and again, I'm no Picasso, so that's Missouri. Moswin is a network of 700 and 800 megahertz towers all throughout Missouri. One of the presidential directives from 9/11 was that we all move to 700 megahertz, which is now called the public safety band. So if you ever heard back in the day, back in that time, everybody was talking about wideband versus narrowband. The FCC said everybody had to compress into their bands they're in, like this one, had to compress in a narrow band so they could open up the 700 megahertz band for public safety. Okay, so Moswin is a 700 megahertz digital and VHF system. The great thing about Moswin is I can be standing right here, and they're going to assign us a channel when we go to it full time. But I can be standing here at the Lake of the Ozarks, and I can have somebody in St. Joe, and I key up, and it's like I'm standing next to them. Because when you key up on Moswin, it goes through the whole state. So it's a much better, more robust system. This system for maintenance is free because the state and the federal government maintain it. I just have to have the radios to be able to talk. So a couple of years ago, when we spent the $48,000 for radios, I bought all radios that were Moswin compatible. So all of our radios work. My big hang up with going from Moswin, from VHF to Moswin, was our surrounding agencies did not have Moswin. So if I'm on Moswin talking, we have to have another channel for Northwest, Southwest, Mid-County, Gravois to be able to talk to us, which was going to create. So I walked back on moving to it 100% because we need to be able to communicate with each other. Technology's changed, things have improved. At this repeater, we have a box at Q House that has that repeater in it. It looks kind of like that in the box, and there's a radio attached. Well, now that things have changed as far as rules with Moswin, I can have a second radio, which we haven't. We can patch VHF on a VHF channel to our what will be our Moswin. So they will hear us talking even though we're not on VHF, and they can talk to us even though we're not on. Does that make sense? It's a pass through between the two systems. That's why they call it patch. Okay. So I have some P25 radios that we had taken out of the old trucks that I can program and flash them, that I'll be able to do this. So when I say we're going to Moswin, this is what I mean. This is, for lack of a better term in today's technology, VHF is going by the way of the rotary telephone, and everybody's going to this. So my goal, Mid-County just got their talk group. Gravois is going for theirs. I got to get mine. But everybody's moving to this finally, so it's time for us to do that too. Does that make sense to everybody?
Any grant money out there?
There is. I mean, we got 6 radios on a grant, and that repeater came on the grant. So there is, but I don't really need it. I mean, with what we got after talking to Shepard up at 911 the other day, and he's like, well, you still got some of those XTL radios, right? And I said, yeah. He said, are they P25? And I said, well, at least 2 of them are. And he's like, we can put that on your existing repeater. And I'm like, oh crap, that's way easier than anything else. And then I can take the money that I was gonna, because another option I was looking at too was at Station 3, putting in a receive site that talks directly to that coverage area. But Moswin has added a ton of receive sites to the area. So when we first went to Moswin in the area, the first ones on it was Highway Patrol. And Highway Patrol hated it because it was only guaranteed to work on the main highways and nothing else. So if you went down Beechwood, They didn't guarantee it worked. If you were on the water and you were water patrol, you couldn't talk to dispatch. So when they first set everything up, nobody liked it because they didn't have any sites. They put some in Wilson Bend. They put one in Wilson Bend. There's one at Bagnell Dam. There's one in Versailles. There's one in Camdenton. And next year, I was just told because Dustin Hancock went up and talked to him the other day, this tower out here is on their list. Now that that's up and they found out that we're the landowners for that, they want to put one on there. So it's only going to get better for us. We had Lieutenant Pat Harper, since he's been on light duty, we had him drive around all this week with a portable radio. The mobiles work. They're powerful. They got bigger antennas and no bill. Was worried about the portables, handhelds going into windows and things like that. So all this week, he's been driving around with a test sheet and walking through these condo complexes, and he's never lost service. So the nice thing about the Mosman system is it's kind of like a cell phone. So if you don't have service, it will beep at you, but then they can just jump back over to VHF and still call. So basically, going to this, I will maintain the VHF system to talk to our mutual aid and to have a redundant backup. Does that make sense to everybody? So I know I feel like every time I talk about this, everybody just kind of looks and goes, okay. I'm like, we probably need to draw this out. So this is basically the exact same training I'm doing for our guys this week when we're doing our platoon meetings. But I just wanted to put it into perspective, for everybody, what we're doing and what all this means. So
what's our medicating cost on us to change over all this? So we don't have anything to buy right now?
right now, I don't think I have anything to buy. If I do, it'll be, I'll probably get another used radio instead of buying a brand new one. So at most for a mobile radio, about $3-4 grand. The APX Next, which is the latest and greatest Motorola walkie, is out, and that has dropped the 8000s, which we got on the grant. The 8000s were $6 grand a piece, and they've dropped down to about 2,200. So if I can do it the way I want to, then the money I was going to use for that, I would like to get the walkies to where everybody's got a Mosman walkie right now. They just don't have one that's signed to them full time.
What are those each?
Those are the $2,200, about $2,200 to $3,500, depending on.
You would need one for every employee?
Yeah, but I already have 13, so I don't need, I need one for every employee, but I don't need the full 28. So actually I have 14, so. Yeah.
Two.
So, I mean, it's still gonna be a little bit of a chunk, but mobile repeaters in the cars and doing a site and all that, just the site alone would be about $3. So by not doing a site at Treehouse and doing it the way I want to do it, we should have money to buy, and we don't have to do all the walkies right away. You know, I can do some this year and some next year. It's just gonna have to see how it shakes out once I get it set up. So, I mean, the thing is, at this point right now, it doesn't matter. The guys, they're working tonight on the truck right now, and every chair of that truck, they have a Mosman walkie. So we have the capability. We're not losing anything. For me, it's more of a safety thing for the individuals if we buy them an assigned walkie. And I'll be honest with you, same thing I told the guys today. I liken it to the traffic vests. When we all shared traffic vests, they sat on the truck. They were dirty, nasty. Nobody ever washed them. They just were there. And then I assigned every one of them a new traffic vest. Now they look awesome because they take care of it themselves. And that's just human nature. So, so that's where we're at. I just want to kind of give everybody an update on where we're at and where we're going. But I do want to get into our existing system so I don't lose connectivity to our volunteer who's can't afford these radios right now. So, any questions about that? Okay. Code enforcement, the village of Sunrise Beach. The city is looking to adopt codes and start a code enforcement arm of their government. Under the state statute, if they adopt, we lose the power to inspect residential 1- and 2-family dwellings in their venue. This does not affect commercial buildings, and I have not been officially notified of anything yet, but it sounds like it's going to happen. They've already got some issues. We had a sunshine request the other day because some people in there, it seems like somebody might be jumping the gun. And I had a resident that's pretty mad, so, if they do it, that's their right as a city. There's nothing that we need to do to stop them or fight about it. We'll help them with the transition, but, any permit we have out right now, if say they adopt March 1st, we still have to do those inspections, close out those permits because we issue them. But after that, anything on a single family or, like a duplex, we would not look at anymore. That would 100% take the city. As far as timelines and stuff go, I have no idea when they're doing it. Again, I've not been given any type of that information other than Chief Craig has come to Kenny and was asking him some questions about inspections because apparently Chief Craig's going to do the inspections.
What about
So-
docks?
I'm sorry.
Docks? You still doing docks?
We'll still do, well, docks would fall under their purview too then, and they're in their area. And that's kind of a weird question because that doesn't really, it falls under the code, but the state law really doesn't talk about that because the state law deals with residential or occupied structures. It doesn't really talk about it. And my thing is if they're gonna do that work, then they can have the docks too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, if they want it, they should take it all for their area. So, I don't have any problem going out doing a check. If somebody thinks they got electric and water in that, we'll still do the emergency stuff. But I mean, if they're gonna do this, and quite frankly, the way I've heard they're gonna do it, then they need to do it all, because we don't need to get in an interagency issue. So, I don't know when it's gonna be, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Because of the sunshine request we got, because the guy wanted everything from 2019 to now that we did in the village of Sunrise Beach. It was like 20 permits total. So it's not, on a grand scheme of things, as far as our permit losses, it's not gonna hurt us a whole lot with the permit fees we collect. But, you know, it's their right to do it. And I dealt with a lot of this up in St. Louis because the St. Louis area was the reason we lost our inspection powers in the state. So the only reason we do them as Sunrise Beach Fire District is we're the only ones looking at the stuff right now. But if somebody, like even if the county came in and said tomorrow, we're gonna start doing building inspections, we're now out of it. We don't have a choice.
That wouldn't be a bad thing.
No, it would,
We're a fire department.
it would free Kenny up
Yeah,
tremendously,
exactly.
so, so that's just where we're at, I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Financial disclosures, you should have received a letter from the Ethics Commission with your login stuff. So I just wanted to remind everybody, make sure you do that, I think the deadline's May 1st. Training, mutual aid training this month was pre-incident planning at Porter's Building Center with Gravois hosting. Crews also completed their quarterly EMT refresher, and Chief Oldenwald and Squad 12 crew assisted the Lacey Training Academy with live fire evolutions here at Sunrise Beach. And the training academy is going to move forward with doing an annual Fire 1 and 2 class. And they've got an instructor lined up that is going to be either retired or he's just going to handle Fire 1 and 2 from here on out. So hopefully we can generate some good applicants out of that. Gravois will be hosting Rope Tech this coming month. Chief Odenwald, possibly me, it just depends on scheduling. We'll be attending the first Fire Instructor 3 course in the state of Missouri in Jeff City. As part of the state's accreditation process, they've been updating the national standards and including higher level training classes that they never had before. So if you guys remember, last 2 years, Officer 3, Officer 4, Rob actually wrote the curriculum for that. And then a lot of our guys got it. So the state's coming out with these higher level classes, and we're doing everything we can to be a part of that. And to that end, under Good and Welfare, Chief Odenwald has been tapped by the state to continue to get these new classes off the ground. For them to ask him to do that's a huge honor, and will be a lasting impact statewide for years to come. So kudos to Chief Odenwald. I don't have a fire marshal's report because Kenny's out of town, so we won't do that tonight. I'll have him catch it up next month. So that is the chief's report for, I didn't change his because that's supposed to be hidden. We'll just go there. Oh, you can't see it. Oh, it came up. I didn't even, nobody even said nothing. Hey, it's up on the screen now, just so everybody knows. So we won't have a fire marshal's report.
But you do this last.
Yeah, right? I'm over here just reading off the thing.
Okay. Motion to accept the chief's report,
Motion accept.
second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
John, do you accept the chief's report?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, unfinished business. 2026 code adoption third reading.
Third reading. So again, we'll table the reading, and then next month we'll adopt. So you just need a motion to table.
Motion for this third reading?
Table.
Sorry, motion to table.
And waive the third reading.
Waive the third reading.
Motion to waive and
None of these you said. Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye.
John, do you accept the table and,
Yes.
okay?
All right, new business, 2026 online vendor list.
I had included that in your packets. We only added like one or two vendors that we started using, like Easy for the HVAC and stuff. So it's basically the same list from last year. We just do it every year.
Motion to approve the 2026 online vendor list.
Make a motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye. John, do you approve the 2026?
Okay, bond payment wire transfer in the amount of $531,173.91.
motion to approve transfer.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
McGrath Insurance.
Okay.
Sir?
Thank you so much. I'm going to go over the renewal in a condensed manner, since the motion's already been made. And just as a reminder, we had moved the program from Anthem Direct that had been in place for a number of years to their NEWA program, which is a provision under the federal government to allow employers to band together. And this is 14 months then of coverage under this program. And so it is proposed.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
do you have one more I can give to John?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
And I have a copy for Emily too, if you want it. And so I tried to condense it down. It would be on your guys' I guess, third page, where it does show the plan current and the plan next to it and the proposed increase of 9.9%. So the only change to the product is $100 increase in the deductible. They've left everything else the same. The chief and I have met multiple times regarding this. We looked internally to the portfolio. There just really isn't an obvious option that makes sense to try to take on more claim risk per employee, to try to drive some of the premiums. We've had some challenges with the change in the formulary on the prescription list with certain medications not being covered that might have been eligible before. And so as I looked into the marketplace as well, there just wasn't anything from a pricing standpoint that can compete with this. So in conversation, we're certainly going to try to find a plan that doesn't charge the employee, therefore the reimbursements through the HSAs, co-pays after deductibles have been met. That's been a big expense to the plan, heard it loud and clear. And so we'll take a different look. So this plan was protected by 14 months of rates initially. And so it went a little 2 months over. We will try to take a look at this for a 1/1 change date, 2027, to try to get back on calendar year because all the benefits are calendar year. And it's just a lot easier to manage it that way. So if it does make sense to change, we'll do that before the renewal comes up. And we'll get to work on that in early fall to see if there's a better option for the next year. So any questions on that? I know it was in your packet and you just kind of wanted to go through it, but here to answer any questions as well. Excuse me.
The biggest thing for me is when we switched to the new plan, we did that because we were gonna see a jump. And then here we are, we switch, we go to the next year, and all of a sudden we're right back where we were gonna be if we had just paid it the first time. And a few of the situations with our staff members, some of them were on medications that are not covered by the new plan that were covered under the old. We did that to save money, and they agreed to go find something else, and now here am I paying what I would have paid anyways, and they could have stayed on that medicine. So that's, for me, that's a huge aggravation. And this isn't his fault, but the insurance companies, their fix for everything is, we'll just raise the deductible. Well, we cover that. At Sunrise Beach, we've tried, because the deductibles are high, but we used a high deductible to lower the premium, so it was cheaper on the district, and then we said, we'll just give the guys a reimbursement. Well, at what point do we just say, look, the reimbursement's getting ridiculous, how about if we just do a high premium and be done with it? You see what I'm saying? We're not really saving anything by doing the shell game with the deductible's higher, now we're covering deductible and out-of-pocket stuff with an HSA and with a out-of-pocket reimbursement that we already do. I mean, we just upped it again in a new contract to cover the guy's expenses. So at the end of the day, and again, what we talked about in our meetings was the renewal happens March 1st. Well, here I am December making the budget. Everything's great. We do a contract, and all of a sudden he walks in and says, "Oh, hey, by the way, 9% more." That doesn't work. I can't budget that way, and he understands that. And I kind of expected a 9%. I didn't expect 9%, but I knew we were going to get hit with something. It's just very frustrating from my standpoint. So what I told David and what I'm telling you guys, as I said in the chief's report tonight, is we're kind of stuck with the time frame right now with the current plan, and the current plan is not horrible. I don't want anybody to think we've got, a dog crap plan. That's not the case, but I just think there's a better way to probably do this. So my recommendation is we renew this year, and me, David, and the shopper representation are going to go out and see if we can't find something better.
And I think you compiled it just perfectly. The challenge that happened is when we established the HSA is the district was a lot smaller. We didn't have near the dependent participation, spouses and or children. But as you know, there's a lot of competition for that employee pool at the lake. And so everybody around the lake is trying to take each other's employees by looking at the benefit side of it. But we've reached the point within benefit designs to where there's just nothing left. We went from copay designs, non-HSAs to now HSA, but you can only go so far in deductible, and then we're just out of options. So what happens at that point is cuts. Unfortunately, can you continue to contribute as much to the dependent side of things and the generosity that you provided for those benefits? That's where the challenge becomes, because it just doesn't exist in the industry. There's not a product solution any longer once you go to a high deductible health plan. And so we can move it across the spectrum. We're basically there because we did the math moving from your current to a 5,000. It doesn't generate enough savings for the risk that it carries to take that next step there. So, we've done all the tools that are available in the book or in the belt, and it comes next is you guys are elected to make the hard decisions of where do those assets get sent to and trying to support a product like this. So I've been meeting with our school district, and they're challenged with the same dilemma is I've got to go to a meeting Monday night is how do they continue to pay 100% of the employee costs? And they only cover the employee. So I just want you all to know it's pretty rare that anybody covers anything towards dependents, especially on premium, let alone the out-of-pockets as well. This is one of the best benefit options available in the entire region. So it's something the district can be very proud of, but it's getting to the point to where now it's becoming a real challenge to manage. It's kind of where we've gotten to. So I hope that makes sense to you. Any other questions on that? And I'll go to the package. Okay. So I do also have the package policy for the renewal. This would be the property coverages, your liabilities, your auto insurance, and your workman's comp. The good news is the workman's comp has stayed basically flat this year, so there is some decent news in insurance. There's an extra one.
I'll take John.
Thank you. So stop me if you want to ask a question. Prior to this, we did do an inventory list review by the chief and Emily for not only the building's contents, but also the fleet. So I don't want to spend a lot of time going through the details of that. That's been reviewed. But on the first page, it does show your liability limits. This will be the renewal for this package policy from last year. So you have a $2 million occurrence, and then you have your umbrella coverages, which is your excess liability coverages on top of that on that next page. That then gives you the $10 million total to protect the district in any one calendar year. So that's the liability side of it. The next section then is your property. And so it just goes through and lists the buildings and the contents and the locations where those are all at. We do also then have a couple pages back, the page 7 starts your automobile fleet coverages. Gone through that. We take a look at deductibles, trying to save wherever we can. This does include crime exposure coverages as well. And then if you look at the last or page 13, is your workman's comp. So I've gotten to the comp section. Is there any other questions on the property or the liabilities? And so good news, the modification factor for the district is trending down. It went from 0.92 to 0.90. 2% doesn't sound like a lot, but you're now on the credit side of the ledger to where some can be debit additional premium if your losses drive that factor, or you can get in the credit side. And right now you are being credited. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, we moved the workman's comp from Missouri Employers Mutual to 7710. Tremendous amount of savings with that. They're a fire district operated employee company. And so they understand the business. I haven't given it to the chief yet, but we just subscribed to a new workman's comp management program to help employers help manage their workman's compensation, help drive down mod factors, and help educate on what a claim should be, as well as look at different factors with it. We just purchased that for our clients and haven't really even had a chance to get it out to them yet. The intent was for Camden County, one of our bigger clients, but with that, we are sharing it with other key employer clients as well. And it'll just have a different set of eyes on what the district does and how you have your policies and procedures and how you manage certain risks that way as well. So we're just trying to do everything we can to help support the district, the accounts, and try to keep these costs as manageable as possible. It's a challenge. If anybody's seen their homeowners lately, renewals, if you're involved with a condo in any way, that's been a really difficult process or project or, problem at the lake. And so even automobile insurance is becoming a big challenge as well. So the inland marine schedule is the second to last page. And then of course, the last page provides all the premium breakdown. So the package policy does have a little bit of an increase this year. It's right at about 8%. You do have inflation factors that go into the property schedules as well that raise those on a percentage every year to try to keep up with the higher cost of building materials. But it's a challenge for any of this pricing to try to keep it stable. And so this one came in pretty good this year. We do get a shot to look at FirePack again after 3 years. We lost that opportunity and moved to this. Provident does a great job as well. And I think it's showing that it's staying stable. So comp was pretty flat. There's a smaller increase than the health insurance on the package. But that's it all right there. So any questions on the package insurance this year?
When are they going down?
After I retire, I'm sure someday. I don't know. I mean,
Even our 8% going down, mod was pretty darn good.
it is. And so I think we need to continue that. If we can get that down below into maybe the 70s would be ideal. I've never seen one below 7.74%. But any crediting we can do. So that's attributable to the chief. We've had those discussions. I hate to say it, you pay a lot of premium for coverages, but you still pay for them out of pocket as a district. It doesn't make logical sense, but if you file a claim, it just kills you. And so we've just gone through a few of those reported issues, and It's just like on your home. If you have a roof claim, good luck. They're gonna non-renew you the next year. Insurance is just really at its wit's end. It's not a fun business. And it's a real challenge, so.
The premium summary you're looking about, saying,
If you factor them both in combined, yes, with workman's comp, but the package alone, and they are separate, the two separate companies, but yeah. So, better than some years and not as good as others.
Any other questions? Okay. Motion to accept the renewal for the year 2026.
Make a motion.
Second,
I'll second it.
all in favor?
John, do you accept the renewal for 2026? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Steve, I've got invoices for Emily as well as
I'm sure you do.
paperwork for signatures.
Printed in gold leaf, no less, but.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Do you want me to come back up tomorrow?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be
I
great.
can do that. Okay. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
everybody. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Okay, public comment. Motion to adjourn the meeting,
Adjourn.
second? Second. All in favor? Adjourn.
Thank you, John. I'll fill you in on everything. I'll send it to you.
Direct the meeting now.
good job.